So, hello everyone, I'm back and I'm joined in person because TIFF and everyone shows up to Toronto when TIFF happens.
And I live just about 6 blocks from here.
Well, there you go. So then you
Yeah.
know, then I'm gonna have you back in the studio at some point, and we can do it again.
Can drop in whenever you want.
So do you want to introduce yourself and tell everyone what your movie is?
Yeah, my name is José Avelino Gilles Corbett Lourenço, and I'm the writer and director of Young Werther.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for saying so.
Well, I was impressed. I actually had very low expectations, and I was like, wow, this is exactly up my alley, so it worked out perfectly.
Amazing! I love that the movie subverted the expectations. That's lovely to hear.
When it's based off like an old novel, you know, you never know what to expect with it.
Yeah.
And then, so like that was my mindset was like, okay, like, you know, is this gonna be some very, you know, old feeling movie?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
It wasn't really modern. It was like a modern, you know, rom-com, romance drama type thing.
That's literally the exact way I would describe it.
Okay, so like everything basically.
Yeah, just everything. No, it's a romance, it's a comedy, it is a drama. I feel like it's, you know, the films I love most are like movies that feel like movies, where it really is something you can go to with a friend, with a partner, your parents, your kids, anyone, like, and just like feel like the love and the romance and yeah, laugh a bit, cry a bit. That's my favorite thing in the world.
So how did you make this movie feel cinematic? Because when you think, again, of romantic movies generally, right? We don't see those as like big, you know, big screen movies, right? We see those as like, oh, watch it at home, you know, on your couch. But when I went to watch this, I watched it in a theater and I was like, this is how this movie's supposed to be watched. How did you approach that to make it so that it was something where you go to a theater and you feel like this is the way it was meant to be seen?
I love that so much. Thank you so much. Amazing. The cinematographer in our film, Nick Hayes, I didn't know him before we brought him on to shoot the film, but he is just an incredible collaborator. We met up for months before we started pre-production, and we sat down like nearly every night just watching movies from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and we're just kind of going back and forth, like just trading references. And you know, I'd be like, have you seen Pillow Talk? And he'd be like, no, let's watch it. And he'd throw a movie at me, and we looked at everything. Like, he's a real cinephile, and just, yeah, an incredible technician and artist. And we're just like magpies, like stealing things from movies that we loved. And yeah, from the beginning, we kept, do you know Film Grab? Do you know that's it's a site that like archives movies by shots of the film. So you can look at like, yeah, it's you know, interesting directors, interesting films. They're archived. I don't know how big it is, but it's fairly large, and you can click on a film and just see like the sort of like iconic stills from throughout a movie's runtime. And when we were designing the shots, and when we were sitting there and shot listing and drawing things out, and on the day and working with our costumers, working with the production designer, we kept coming back to like, yeah, that's gonna be a Film Grab shot. Like we wanted the whole film to be as appealing visually as it is through the performances and the dialogue. It was just, it was important for us. Like, I love that you're saying as a theatrical film that it's so important to us.
Now, let's talk about the cast for a second, because this is a very impressive cast. I mean, you know, you look, and I guess more from the Canadian perspective, obviously it's stacked, right? You know, how important was that to you, not only from a casting perspective, but also from talent, because they're very talented people, right? This movie stars a whole bunch of talented people.
This is no great insight from me, but like, you know, if you don't have an incredible cast, like, what are you doing? You know, I can't remember whose quote this is, but it's like, once your casting's done, 90% of your work as a director is done. You know, you get the right people, and I feel so fortunate to have the cast that we did. You know, Douglas is, you know, incredible. I first saw him at the Riot Club years ago, the only short fake film, and just, he really stood out to me amongst this group of sort of like young British actors. And Alison Pill is just like, she's a legend of screen and stage. You know, she's so wonderful. Iris Apatow was incredible to work with. Jahar Ben Aid, you're gonna see so much more from Jahar. He is like just the loveliest human being. I mean, everyone in the cast were lovely human beings, but he's so good. feel so lucky to like find people who understand, who are like true artists and can bring a character to life, and and then also have like the reach and the experience. Patrick J. Adams, like he's he's so good. He is so good, and I love that he's obviously like so well known for Suits, and I love all these new projects he's working on as well. He's just so interesting and so steady, and it was just it was amazing working with him.
So the main, and again, I'm not gonna lie to you. I have not read the source material that this is based off of. So this is kind of, I guess I probably should have done that, but I was like, I don't want to do it. So I like watching movies. I don't like reading books. So here we are, and it feels like the main character. I got a lot of like Jim Carrey vibes.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if like the eccentric, like a liar Jim Carrey like personality type thing.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know, like, was that an intentional thing, and was that how the source material played the character, or was it?
The source material is really interesting because it's the book is a novel sort of told primarily in letters. So it's Werther writing about his experiences with Charlotte and Albert and the community. He's writing these letters to his best friend back home, Wilhelm. So in the film, the unseen pen pal Wilhelm becomes Paul, his best friend, played so beautifully by Jahar Ben-Aid. Jim Carrey was not one of the references that we looked at, but he, I think Doug really created the character, really brought him to life, through a process of watching so many different films with just wonderful, spirited, irrepressible, comedic actors who also can, traverse drama with as much facility as they do comedy. I keep calling him the Cary Grant of his generation. That's how I see Doug. Someone who's just has like effortless panache and is just pure charisma, and just someone that you want to be around, and someone who makes you feel good when you're in a room with them. Like that's, I think Douglas has that naturally, and I think he really imbued Werther with that spirit beautifully.
So, I guess so. There's two things I want to ask you, and then I promise I will leave before I'm hooked off. When it comes to what you want audiences to take away from this, right? Because with a movie, which again, the way it's described is like a romantic drama comedy type thing, sometimes people like it's kind of like fluff movie. Is there something you actually wanted people to take away from this when it comes to the character dynamics of jealousy and kind of desire, I guess?
I mean, absolutely. I want this movie to be everyone's favorite movie, or at least people who are going to respond to a movie like this and have it be their favorite movie. I think like the themes you're speaking about and the emotions that exist in the film, they exist in the book, and I think a lot of times romances and comedies can be dismissed as not serious, but there's a reason that this romantic book has persevered for 250 years. It was the most popular book in its day. It's survived this long. It's going to survive beyond our film. It's going to be adapted in many different ways in the future as well. And I think anything that gets at ideas that are timeless and speak to our core concerns as humans, like who do we want to spend our time with? Who are we in love with? Who are we friends with? I mean, I don't know that there's anything more important in the world, really, at the end of the day, when you're looking back at a life than who you loved and who you surrounded yourself with.
With that being said, I want to thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're super busy, and I don't want to keep you too long. I have a million more questions, but I'm sure people can go watch the movie, and then, they'll be able to have their own questions for you.
I love it. Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for the thoughtful questions.
Thank you so much.